The Retro Buzz starts right after this.
Hey guys, it's Friday, so it's time for the Retro Buzz, and we've got a jam-packed show for you today. But before we get to our special guests, we have this guy. He's back after a couple weeks, and he didn't have baseball tonight, so he joined us.
I thought we were not supposed to talk about this.
Oh well, we're talking about it. So,
Oh, come on.
Daniel is back with us. We've also got Mr. Douglas Smith, YouTube.com/Cool
Hello.
Do you still have the hair?
Oh yeah, it's shaggy as all get out. It's full on quarantine mode. Even though honestly, I've cut my own hair for the last 15 years. I just purposely chose not to cut it right now. So I really have no excuse.
So are you doing this because of all the arcade cabinets and toys that you're buying? You're using it as a leveraging negotiation with your wife? Is that really what's happening?
I mean, that would make more sense, but in reality, it's just because I've got to try out for a boy band in September. So I gotta nail the look.
Oh, well,
gotta have the long hair so I can nail my niche for the boy band group.
All right. Well, we'll keep you updated on Doug's hair. We've also got Mr. Planet Tomato, Mr. Glenn Planamento.
What's going on, gentlemen?
What's going on?
Another episode of the Retro Buzz. Another Friday, another work week is done.
Absolutely. And we've got a gentleman that's with us that he's just got it made in the shade, and no pun intended. We've got Mr. Shilo Prychak from NewWaveToys.com. Look at him just chilling like a villain out there in the summertime sun.
That's right.
Welcome, sir.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Well, you're making us jealous. We're all like crammed up in these studios here, and you're sitting outside. What did you say? It was 84 degrees?
Yeah, I just looked. It's 84 degrees and sunny and beautiful out here in Los Angeles.
Wow.
Got a cold beverage within arm's reach.
Right
hey. Good man.
There you go.
Gotta have the beer.
Beer vodka.
Yeah, it's a little early with vodka. It's not that much of it anyway, but it's all good.
So, for those that don't know about New Wave Toys, why don't you kind of dive into it? I know Glenn's got a few things he wants to ask you, so talk to everybody about there what New Wave Toys is all about and how long you've been doing it.
Yeah. So, New Wave Toys, I started New Wave Toys about 3 years ago, and I could probably just back up a little bit and tell you a little bit about my my experience in the video game industry. I started way back in 1996 as a buyer for the now debunked Virgin Megastores, and I bought video games and collectibles for that chain for 9 years. And after that, I got into product development. I used to work for a company that made a lot of accessories and peripherals, controllers, headsets, etc., all that kind of stuff. And I've always had the dream of, starting my own company. And so I did it. And the first line is the Replicade line, of course. And that goes to my love of video games and arcade games in particular. And just growing up as a kid, I was born in 1970. So, I mean, I remember playing, Death Race when I was like 6, and it just blew me away. And arcade games to me are just, they're just the epitome of video games. and wanted to create a line that really paid proper homage to these machines in every detail possible, and allow people to collect them, build a collection, and not have to take up a bunch of space. And obviously for a fraction of the price of a full-size vintage arcade machine, which we'll never be able to beat that. Those machines are the benchmark, but we're trying our best to be second place, and second best to those machines. And so we've been growing. We started out as a Kickstarter company. We launched with Centipede and Tempest on Kickstarter, and that got us going. And here we are, 3 years later, and we're going stronger than ever. Of course, this year's been challenging with everything going on as far as coronavirus, etc. Derailed us a little bit, but we're getting back on track, and we have a really exciting back half of the year planned.
You said the magic word for Glenn. You said Tempest.
Well, I got 2 Tempests already. Kidding me? I got Tempest over here, Centipede, and Street Fighter. And as you guys know, I'm not a fighting genre kind of guy, but the machine is just so awesome. I had to have it, and I'm drooling and have been drooling for a while for the next one coming out, which is Dragon's Lair. And I know you've shown off a couple of other things. I don't know if they're really going to be made, but you did have a sit-down version of the Missile Command. I'm not sure if that's still something you guys are considering, but man, I gotta have it. Gotta have it.
The environmental version or the regular step version?
Yes and yes. You know me? You should know me by now.
Yes,
Yes,
to all.
and yes.
Yes to all. Absolutely.
And you got to make sure there's
we
5
can
of them.
We can. There's also a cocktail table too, right?
Yep.
Yes. Well, as soon as you make it.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I honestly, I think we got a little ahead of ourselves announcing games at a certain point last year, and we're really playing catch up right now. But the good news is that we've been working on several games for. I mean, it takes us about 2 years to get a game done. I mean, it just takes that long. I mean, if you want to do it properly and try to get the controls right and get everything done proper, it does take a long time. But we're in a position right now where we're actually, just a little bit of change of strategies, trying to get the games we've announced out in a little more of a timely manner. And to do that, we've done a few things like starting tooling processes earlier, and hope to be ahead of the schedule, so that we can get caught up on a lot of the things that we have announced, and then also unleash some really great things we have in the works.
Very cool. Very cool.
Well, when you started, like you said,
specifically, sorry, Glenn. Yes, Missile Command will be coming.
Excellent. So like.
And what's really cool about it is the trackball, of course, is bigger than the Centipede trackball, right? So
that worked out really nicely, and I'm still shocked at how well that trackball worked.
Yeah, well, it's going to be even better on Missile Command because you're going to be able to get the inertia of the bigger ball, more than what we could with the smaller trackball on Centipede.
And was that trackball in-house design? That wasn't like off-the-shelf trackball, was it?
Oh no, it's completely custom design, custom tooled. We have very little components we could buy right off the shelf.
Yeah.
We basically need to engineer it and make everything from scratch. That's why we're so slow.
That's good. Well, I mean, you guys are making everything from the ground up. I mean, it's very impressive.
Yeah.
With that being said, I can personally attest that prototyping stages and trying it out and the tooling, I can attest it takes time. So you're still doing a fantastic job with the ones you've brought out. I understand, there's always delays, and obviously with the pandemic going around, that's going to cause some problems. But you guys have always been listening to people as well. You take feedback in a positive way, and if there's any hasn't really been issues, but anything that does happen, let's say you get machine comes out and it's scratched or something, you guys have always addressed that with the people. You didn't just turn around and say, we're walking away. You guys have been very engaged with your customer base, and that's a fantastic thing.
Well, we consider ourselves a luxury product, and with that better come really great customer service, right? So we pride ourselves on giving great customer service to people. So thank you for that. Appreciate that.
So Shilo, let me ask you. Sorry.
If I just want to say something real quick, I tend to talk over people, so just kick me, Steven and Doug. Just give me a kick on the table, and I will shut up immediately.
Well,
so
what I was
Doug,
gonna
go ahead.
What I was gonna tell him though with that Doug, and because of his headset, he does get it delayed. He's not doing it on purpose. I promise you that, because I had a headset like that. So just bear with him.
No worries. No, Shilo, I was just going to ask you, as far as the Replicate line, and when it came to your initial thoughts and design, what settled, your idea, or what caused you to choose the scale that you guys went with overall? Like, was it just that's where you guys landed on the engineering aspect, or is that said, from a collector standpoint, you're like, yeah, that'll fit nicely in line with my action figures and my other collectibles?
Yeah, bingo, right there. I mean, we were talking before we came on the air about collecting Star Wars toys, and I go back to when I was, 8 years old, and I collected the 12-inch figures. And my sister was big into Barbie when we were kids growing. I always wanted to play Barbie with her, and so there used to be a doll called Big Jim, and they'd always boot me out. They didn't want to play with me, but I love playing with. I do love 6 scale. I think it's just the perfect blend of not too big and not too small. And basically it goes with a history of 12-inch play scale toys that go back, and everything fits together nicely. And also, even if you're not into 6 scale, it's just a really nice bookshelf size that you can make a collection, put it on your desk, your shelf, whatever it might be, and it isn't going to take up a whole lot of room, but it's big enough that it's substantial, and we can do the things we want to do with the controls. The screen is big enough you can see it clearly. I mean, everything is big enough, but again, not too big. So so that's basically why.
So it's essentially that Goldilocks formula.
Yes.
Not too big, not too small. Just like me, just right.
Nailed it.
Just like.
Well, I think they're pretty cool. Like, as far as the scale of it, for like, I've been trying to get my son into doing a lot of the collecting. We've got some action figures.
I'd rather play Fortnite.
But it's all Doug's fault with the buying of the toys. In fact, we're going to a toy fair tomorrow because he wants to look around for some of the older Ghostbusters stuff. But I like to set that stuff up around the arcade, and I know Glenn, he's got like 5 of them, so he'll mod one, he'll save one, he'll put one in a bag, and then he'll destroy the other one. So
or donate.
Or donate it, yeah.
Hey, you know what's funny about that? My son is so untypical as normal kids. He looks at me and goes, "Dad, you got too many. They got to go." Like, what? What are you talking about? They got to go. These are mine. They're going to go to you. Dad, you got too many. They got to go. I'm like, no, maybe you need to go. Not my stuff.
That's the greatest father ever.
See? Thank you.
Being sarcastic, Glenn.
Oh, wow, you hooked me.
You're so rude to your son.
So we do have a
just trying to be a dad.
Yeah, so we do have a super chat in the YouTube from Detroit Love. It says, "What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Detroit Love supporting another video." So appreciate that, Detroit.
Appreciate
Love.
that. Absolutely.
Now, Shilo, I do want to ask you another quick question, if I can, which will be a long answer. When you talked about working on the machines and getting them right, the Centipede, I think, was dead on the money. I mean, the controls, the volcano buttons, the look was absolutely perfect. The Street Fighter, again, it's amazing. You made that the way it is. The controls feel fantastic. The joystick is fantastic. The ability to add a second button, having a spot in the back with little lights on it, was fantastic. The Tempest machine looks fantastic. It plays great, but the spinner reminds me of the arcade 1-Up spinner, where it is a rotary knob. Can you tell me anything about that, please? Because I would love to make a device to fix that. I think it's fixable. Not that it's bad, but it's not a smooth, free spinning spinner. Can you tell me a little bit about how that came about?
Yeah, we tried our best to get a spinner that actually would be a freeform spinner, and another aspect of that controller was the actual scale of the knob, right? So
Right.
you guys know that the knob is modular, so there's one that you could pop on that's larger and it has a weight inside it that makes it easier to play. And then of course there's the 1/6 true scale, which I mean it's not very good to play with, just because of the size, right? So when in development, it was the best we could do at the time, and I can say that we haven't stopped working on it. And future games that feature the rotary dial will actually be free form, free spinning, as you said, and smooth and with no notches.
So that you're telling me Pong is coming out, right? Warlords, Pong, right?
I could tell you there's a game coming out that uses a rotary dial.
There you go.
But what I had always thought was
In
for
the
the
works.
rotary dial is even just using an optical encoder from like a mouse, because it would give you that free flowing. Again, I didn't engineer it. I still love the machine.
Well,
It was
what
just a
we did
thought.
use was an optical encoder. I mean, that's what's in there right now. So I mean, it was just we did our best, and we were up against time, and that was the best we could do at the time, and honestly, we have not stopped working on it. So it's been something we absolutely want to address, and correct going forward.
So there's a question in the YouTube from Jason Wood. He says, "Hey Shilo, any chance of a Mortal Kombat replicate? Is Zohar in here somewhere paying this guy?
He is. Zohar,
He's gotta be.
Zohar's there. Hi, Zohar.
Oh,
He's in there.
or he says Mortal Kombat or as a replicate or Killer Instinct replicate in the future. Huge fan of your products."
Well, thank you, first of all, for being a fan and supporting us. Yes, we're working on more fighting games for sure. It's an important genre, and we put again so much work into making that mini micro switch joystick,
Which is very impressive, by the way.
That was a couple of years of engineering on that thing, and even the micro switch buttons that we used, right, were also all custom. So making another fighting game is going to be easier for us, which is the great news, right? I mean, getting the controls down, I mean, we don't need to improve anything; they're dead on. So I can't say on the show exactly what games are coming, but we're definitely working on another fighting title right now.
So he gave Zohar this tiny little bit of hope. You're not going to hear the end of this. This is not going to hear the end of it.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
Shilo,
I'm a big fan of both of those games that the franchises that he mentioned there. So
Hey, we know Johnny Cage. He was on a couple weeks ago, so
True, we did.
Just saying.
Johnny Cage.
Master Piscina.
Yeah, Master Piscina.
Yeah.
Well, the big thing with anything, with New Wave Toys, like anything, they get a license and they work within the license. So I'm sure it just comes down to the right amount of money for the license, and then they would work on it. Who knows? Maybe they're working on it now. It takes a couple of years to happen. But the new one coming out is the Dragon's Lair one. So with that one, what's been your biggest challenge on bringing this one out? Because first of all, the photos, the box, everything just looks phenomenal on that thing. I mean, I'm drooling. I'm almost wet from all the drool coming into my shirt. So it looks great. So what's been your biggest challenge for that particular replicate? Come out.
Again, a really long development time went into Dragon's Lair to get the Daphne emulator working with the scoreboard. Scoreboard is probably the toughest thing as a new feature, getting that scoreboard working. But also, I mean, there's not a micro switch joystick in Dragon's Lair, right? I mean, it feels like the Dragon's Lair, 4-way or 8-way. I mean, there's a lot of debate about actually what would ship, but I mean, it's a stiff, shorter throw, and so we had to develop more custom components. We wanted it to feel right? And you're not going to use a micro switch joystick if it would used leaf switch joystick, originally. That and there's a lot more accessories in Dragon's Lair, and I mean there's a mini Laserdisc replica, fun stuff like that. That plus a couple little more surprises we're throwing in for everybody. But the longest thing and the biggest delay has been because of the situation with the pandemic, and it's narrowed down to subcomponent sourcing. And so for instance, like our main factory partner, they're up, they're ready to roll, but a lot of the smaller suppliers have taken a long time to deliver components. Yeah, just because shortage of workers, etc., all these things that are going on over in China where we do our manufacturing, and that's caused the delays. I mean, we could have had Dragon's Lair out, we've been finished for a couple months. So it's been really frustrating. And I know I don't want to sit here and just blame everything on that, but that is the problem has been that. And earlier in the year, we had a couple projects finished, namely we did a power bank, inspired by Walkman power bank, right? And we also did the charge machine, which is the USB hub that is primarily people use to power the Replicades, right? And wow, I mean, we finished production, we loaded our container, and it sat in China for 60 days.
Wow.
Before we could get it. Yeah. So we've really had some challenges this year that have set us back from where we would like to be right now. But we're still pushing forward, and we just finished up a Kickstarter for our Boombox project. We could talk about that too. But I mean, honestly, it's been a little bit of a challenge this year, and things that have been really out of our control.
Now, did you think when you started that first Kickstarter, did you think your company was going to grow and the user base grow as much as it did?
Well, I sure hope so. I mean, absolutely. I mean, I didn't, quit my job of 13 years, to start it for it to fail. And, but at the same time, I'm very grateful, and I have a great team of guys that I work with, and we're growing, and it's really exciting. I mean, this year we moved in, we got our own warehouse space now, our own office space. We worked remotely and had a offsite warehouse that did our fulfillment. We do everything in house now, and it's been a great growth year from that perspective. We like having control of shipping our own products out to everybody, making sure everything's packed properly with care, etc. I mean, right from the beginning right to the end, now we have full control of our supply chain, and it's been a really great growth year. Just wish we could, get things out a little quicker. But Dragon's Lair, right now we're planning on going to production here in the first week of July, and that's pretty much, knock on wood, that's pretty much concrete. And I mean, unless something crazy happens, we just can't wait to get Dragon's Lair out, because it's. I mean, I would like to think every cabinet we do is better than the last one. And that's always our goal. So it's coming.
A quick thing I'll just say here: people do not mind. I'll tell you right now, don't mind. It takes a little bit longer. Do it right, and all the things you've done are pretty much you've been doing right. So people, trust me, are fine with that. They'd rather have a little more time to wait to get a good product, and have something out quicker and have problems. So trust me, we're fine with it.
Well, that's what I was gonna say, Doug. If you want to go through some of these questions here that these
Yeah.
guys got, but before you do that, I think
Mhm.
being transparent, like you are, like what Glenn just said, being transparent, coming out and saying, look, there's problems. I mean, it's not entirely in our control, but it's not entirely out of our control. Just be patient, and I
Yeah.
think people respect that. And even though they have the pre-orders in or whatever, they're willing to wait for the
Mhm.
quality because it is quality, and that's what. And I don't think there's. I wish more companies would do that. Come out and just be more forthcoming, and people would support that. To be honest.
Yeah, I mean, we're basically an open book, right? I mean, it's like no secrets here, we're doing our best, and I really appreciate that too, because we just try to be transparent, like you said, and I mean, there's no sense in like trying to sugarcoat anything or cover
Right.
anything up or anything like this. Tell everybody. I mean, we're all grown-ups, right? Everybody can handle it.
And absolutely. And back to kind of what Glenn said, is, people being patient for the end result. I mean, sure, you guys probably could have kicked Dragon's Lair out the door much earlier and just put a sticker up for the scoreboard and called it good, like some other companies, and said,
Oh yeah,
hey,
right. I mean,
there's your scoreboard, it's a sticker. Enjoy it. It looks cool. But you guys know, you guys are going that extra mile. I say, no, we're gonna do it right. We're gonna give every little attentive detail its due reserve and call out, and we're going to spend that extra time making sure everything is as accurate and nailed down as possible.
Yeah, I'll tell you a little. I mean, if you guys are following along with the Dragon's Lair Kickstarter campaign, we try to keep everybody in the loop of what's going on. And talking about attention to detail, I mean, that is our number one goal. We want to have the most detail. I mean, everything we want to be as good as it could possibly be. And that goes right down to the coin door, right? And of course, you guys are all experts in this and aficionados. But the Dragon's Lair coin door was a raised letter coin door,
Mm-hmm.
and I mean we had to have that, right? But we couldn't get the rights to use Cinematronics name for legal reasons. And so what we did is we used the Replatronics name, which is very similar to Cinematronics, and we mimicked the logo and we put it on the coin door, and we gave everybody a glimpse of it, and we were really surprised that a lot of people were not happy that it said Replatronics, and so I mean, we were just so pumped to show everybody like this awesome raised letter coin door.
Yeah,
back, and they were pretty upset about it, right?
Mhm.
So I mean, we really took that to heart, and we're like, okay, what can we do here? How can we fix this so everybody's happy? And we were like, okay, you know what? Let's do a tooling modification, flatten out that area, and then if somebody wants to put a sticker, whatever logo they want, they can go ahead and do that on their own time, right?
Yeah.
And so we're like, okay, and then it was like, you know what? We're ditching the raised coin door. It's so cool, right? We can't do that. And there was a lot of people that were like, hey, no, keep the raised coin door, right? And so we took a step back, and we're like, okay, you know what? Here's a good solution. What we'll do is we'll tool up a little thin metal cap that if you don't want to look at that Replatronics logo, you can just stick it on there. And then, of course, you can put any logo on top of that you wish.
Mhm.
And,
See, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That type of choice is you're listening and gave them a choice. That's fantastic.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, doing the pre-sales is really great because we do get this feedback and we have time to react. Instead of everybody cracking open the box and being disappointed on something, there's a solution there in case you are disappointed with that aspect of the game. So we really appreciate everybody's feedback. I mean, sometimes it's hard to take, but it's like, okay, it's good feedback, and we want, as much as we can, we want to make everybody happy.
Right.
Perfect.
That's the goal.
Someone from the chat said, wants to answer for this. Does the Dragon Lair replace also have Space Ace and Dragon Lair 2?
Does it have
No.
Space Ace and Dragon's Lair too? He's like no. Somebody in the chat room wanted to know.
Yeah, I'll tell you, we did 2 games on our Street Fighter cabinet, right? And we will do extra games, and we do have some plan for some of the cabinets that are coming out this year. But we would never add a game that we would actually want to make a replicate cabinet of. And the Space Base Dedicated is awesome, and it's super rare and really cool. So
in other words, read between the
we wanna
lines,
make a
guys.
Space Base, yeah.
Now look how giddy Glenn is now, because he's like reading between the lines and going.
He's needing.
Yeah.
He's needy.
Absolutely.
He's like a
We
mouse
got
when
another
he sees
question in the.
cheese.
We got another question in the YouTube chat. This is from Grand Funk Master Chief. Excellent name.
Say that 3 times
When,
fast.
yeah. When will New Wave Toys announce their upcoming Replicade Replitronic releases? I've been waiting for news after Evo 2020 was canceled. So that's the hot ticket item question everybody on everybody's mind. E3 and all these shows have been canceled. Yeah. What's next?
It really sucks. I mean, we had plans for E3 again. We had a really great E3 last year. I know you came by, Cool Toy, and Glenn. I'm not sure if you came by. Anyway, so we had a really good E3, and we're planning on that again this year. Everything's canceled. Portland Gaming Show. I mean, all these shows, everything's canceled. So what we're doing is we're actually kind of taking a step back, and we want to get caught up on some of the things we've already announced. And that doesn't mean there's not anything in the works, because there absolutely is, and we're going to have some surprises. But we're still kind of nailing down on how we want to do those announcements. And another thing as a goal for the company is we don't want to announce something and then it comes out 18 months later. We want to shorten that gap, and that's what we're working on. And so when we do make an announcement, the game will be coming out a lot sooner than just announcing it. And then, in the situation that we're in right now, where we kind of got ahead of ourselves with announcements and showing prototypes and stuff like that. We don't want to do that again. We want it to be a shorter time frame, and hey, this is coming, and boom, here it is, So.
Oh, I get that. Yeah, it's better than showing something off and go, look for this on store shelves in 2025. You don't want to, you don't want people to, have that reaction.
No, and stuff starts getting long in the tooth almost. You know what I mean? It's so we want the announcements to be exciting, and we want to follow it up with a release soon after that. So, but stay tuned, follow us on social and stuff like that, and we'll be making some really cool announcements. I think everybody's gonna really dig what we got coming out.
So
not only for the Replicator, other products too.
If people are really good, I mean, on your website, you have all the silhouettes of the machines you have plans for. So if people are good at guessing, they may have an idea. I mean, that's correct, right? The website has all those silhouettes of all the machines, right?
We've teased some silhouettes. Yes, I'll say that.
Some sexy arcade shapes for sure. Yeah.
Stephen Krause
wants. Right.
Yeah, Stephen Krause wants to know. He says, "Would you ever reissue the Tempest cab with the new spinner?"
I'd never say never, but right now there's not a plan to do that at this exact moment. Tempest is, we're almost sold out. I mean, we don't have very many left, and reissuing it it's a tough question for us. I don't know if that's really what we want to do, because I mean that might impact the value of the original launch.
Mm-hmm.
You know
now,
was
the plan for these, Shilo, to be like a limited run?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So you can look now, and there's centipedes. I mean, a lot of it's crazy. Like up in Canada, they're $300, man.
Yeah, $250 is the going price on them for eBay right about now. I think last time I looked at it.
I'll take my hat off to you, because I'm sorry. This delay. You know what? I gotta have new headphones next time. So go ahead. The delay is horrible. So I apologize, sir. Please go ahead.
No, the whole idea is for the products to go up in value and not down.
Mm-hmm.
And so somebody's just like, I'm selling this in my garage sale, I'm so over it. It's like, no, that's a valuable piece of art.
Yeah.
Sell the China first. But all I was going to say was, these are very high quality devices. They're wood, metal. The gameplay is very good. I mean, they're just really good works of art, but they're not expensive to purchase, at least initially. They go up in value, which is good. I didn't buy Tesla stock. I didn't buy Apple stock. I bought Atari stock. You can see where I am. So the selling price, the initial price of these is a lot of times shock me. I know I get into Kickstarter, but even after the Kickstarter, when you go to like a Best Buy, which you can get them at, they're not crazy prices. They're extremely don't raise prices on me, but they're extremely fair when they come out. And I take my hat off to you guys because again, you're doing this as it's a business now for you. You've gotten to that point, but it's also a passion project, and you want the people to be able to get these. You don't want to price them to a point where people can't get them.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, having so much product development experience and experience in manufacturing and such, we've been really able to use economy of scales as much as we can, and also just tooling our own products, making our things from scratch. We're pretty savvy on keeping the prices low, which we pass on to everybody else. And we agree. I mean, we think $120 MSRP on our cabinets is fair, and we want to provide a good value too, right? So everything needs to work together. The quality of the products, the price, everything needs to mesh. And thank you, because it's working. It's working, and our pricing is definitely in line where we want it right now.
Absolutely. So you want to talk about your latest Kickstarter success? You just kicked off the boombox that met all your stretch goals, and I definitely ordered 2 myself. So I mean, I got to say, I'm a big fan of that one. As soon as
You're
I saw it,
you're getting as bad as
I knew I had
Glenn.
to have it.
Getting as bad as
Hey,
Glenn.
So really, New Wave Toys. Our anchor and our love is for the arcade games and making these collectible. I mean, I like to think of them as the Criterion collection of arcade machines, where you're absolutely getting as much as possible, down to the dip switches and down to the little things like we're doing now, where we're trying to, even taking the same type of paper from the original manual and just really getting everything right down to the nitty gritty details. But we also want to expand into, some other product categories. And I mean, we love music also, right? I mean, who doesn't? And the boom boxes are replica boom boxes. So these things back in the early 80s were like just the status symbols. And these high-end boom boxes, like the one we're replicating, the M90, was $800 when it came out in 1982. And the only people that actually had it were like LL Cool J and the Beastie Boys, right? But I mean, everybody else, like me, I mean, I had a cheap Fisher thing, or some off-brand, boombox, right? But I always wanted like the premium one. And the boombox project is basically the same as Replicate in the sense that you can collect these. We're taking the iconic design that. I mean, I love buttons and I love knobs and switches, and I'm not much for touch screens and stuff like that. I'm kind of an old school guy, and I think a lot of other people are like that too. And it's you look at the Bluetooth category, it's just these organic shapes. There's angle or this that, right? And there's no knobs. You can't like adjust the analog treble and the bass and the balance and all this stuff, which is fun, right? And onboard controls, so you can your phone, you can fast forward to the next track. It's really wanted to pay a homage to the boom boxes. And so the other thing is also to make another accessory for your Replicate collection, right? So we did the 40% scale, which is 60% smaller than the original boombox, which was friggin' huge, right? And so we made it a collectible plus portable size, and we just packed in as much modern tech, the best Bluetooth chip, right? Big battery. I think we got, it's like ridiculous, like 60 hours of battery life on it, and
That's impressive.
and then trying to put in like some cool features, like you could charge your phone. The battery's so big, you could charge your iPhone or whatever 4 times off it if you wanted to, and just different ways of connectivity, right? We have USB reader, micro USB, et cetera, analog 3.5 millimeter jack, if you want to go that route. Big fan of analog music and vinyl and tapes and all that kind of stuff. So this has been a long time in the works. I mean, I've wanted to do this for probably 20 years, and the time was finally right. And I mentioned it earlier when we were off, but we're working on this for over 2.5 years, gone through several rounds of prototyping, trying to get it right. And we're really happy with where we are. We unlocked a bunch of stretch goals, and so now we're just taking a step back, finalizing the spec. We're gonna make one final engineering prototype, and if everything's cool, which it should be from there, we'll go into tooling, and we're gonna have our boomboxes out for holiday. But the actual campaign on Kickstarter is phenomenal. Again, we started on Kickstarter, and so we're a Kickstarter company per se, and that campaign, the number of backers is, we couldn't be happier with the amount of backers. I mean, it's the same as our first 2 campaigns combined. So really great success in our eyes, and it gives us into another product category, and also a really great accessory for Replicate, because the little 6-scale boombox sounds, it's going to surprise people how good it sounds. Nice. And you're going to be able to pop that in your Replicate. Everybody's making these great dioramas, and go ahead, make yourself a track list of the music you remember being in the arcade, and let that play Bluetooth. I mean, the little guy even has a rechargeable battery. So we're really stoked about the boom boxes, and the idea is vetted now. So of course we're going to work on more form factors. There's so many cool things we can do. There was boom boxes back in the day that played records, vertically. There's this really badass stuff that we want to tackle going forward.
I'm just going to throw my 2 cents in there. I know you can't compliment or comment on future products, but the Panasonic, I think it's TR1200X, big TRT monitor in the middle, tape deck on one side. You guys can nail something like that. Like I'll buy 5 for Glenn and 5 for myself. I'm just saying, because that would be the holy grail.
Yeah, we started with the M90 because it's so iconic, right? And it's been on LL Cool J's record for radio, and the Beastie Boys have like 10,000 photographs with it, and it's considered the king of boom boxes. And so that's where we started. But I'll tell you, we absolutely want to make the especially the crazy ones with the screen on them and stuff, and the disco balls and the burglar alarm and all these really fun things, But also, it's great having a nice portable Bluetooth speaker that sounds good.
Oh, absolutely.
Just for having once you have one, you won't go back to not having one. I'll tell you that much. It's especially if you love music, right?
Mm-hmm.
When you're like that boom box, how do you go about designing it? You have one? You purchase one to get all the specs down? You do? Okay, so you basically have almost like a 1-to-1, just shrunk down form factor.
Yeah, that's exactly right. It's funny. I mentioned that M90 is $800 new. Man, we couldn't find one for under $4,000.
Wow,
it's insane. So yeah, we have to always reference the original machines, being it Replicate or the boom boxes or the new products we have coming out also. Mm-hmm. I just want to say one more thing to add to that. You need to, because you want to not only get the way it looks, but the way the buttons felt, or the way the analog knobs feel, and get it as close as possible to the original, right?
Mhm.
Of course, the cassette deck needs to open nice and smooth and slow. I mean, that was the benchmark for a quality stereo back in the day, right? Was how did that cassette door open? You know, so we want to get that
See?
right. But
See,
handle
Shilo
everything.
gets it. That's it right there. He gets it. He gets it. That's what I wanted to hear this whole show. You get it.
Thank you.
Oh,
Been
boy.
doing this for a long time, and this is my passion, and it's really the only thing I'm good at. So
Yeah. So Shiloh, you talked about loving music and loving arcades. What do you think about pinball?
Ooh.
Love.
Mhm.
love it. And
Yeah.
yeah,
Do you love it,
I
or
mean,
do you repla love it?
I replicate it, and I'll tell you, I mean, the whole goal with Replicate from the very beginning was to get everything you would find in an arcade in our little collection of 6-scale replicas.
Oh, there was a blonde I remember. She was so nice.
So
Did you do that
could
too?
probably get a party for that, Glenn. I don't know. But yeah, pin for sure. I mean, I go back. I mean, from when I was 5, 6 years old, I was blown away by pinball machines, man. And then just you know, that was sort of the mid '70s. And then I myself, I'm a fan of the sort of early to mid '80s Bally machines.
Mhm.
Those would be my favorite. And I don't know if anybody cares or not, but I'm going to tell you, my favorite pinball machine is Centaur, and it's just a badass game that had like, it's one of the first games I think to have voice taunting and multi-ball, and just a really awesome pinball machine, but also just brings back so much memories of me and all my punk rock buddies playing this game for hours and hours and hours because we had no money and we could actually play a pinball, you know, have a little tourney of pinball and play for quite a long time off a couple quarters.
That's awesome.
So you asked, I love pinball machines, man.
Nice.
I gotta tell you, I wish we could do. It's tough, you know, looking into actually doing a mechanical pinball machine in the scale we have. It's
Right.
really tough. There's a lot of this digital stuff going on. So stay tuned to where we kind of land up. But yeah, we absolutely want to get pinball, but we want it to be proper.
Yeah.
And
definitely.
you know, it's got to be really good, and it's got to have all the details of everything else we just talked about, right? The back glass and the scoreboards, and I mean
Mhm.
the DMD, all that. I mean, it's got to be
Real
good, or we're
plunger.
not
Yeah. The whole 9
Yeah,
yards.
we'll wait 5 years to get it right, you know.
Yeah. Hey.
Put it on because
Whatever
everybody
it
else
takes.
make. That's right.
Well,
So from an engineering standpoint, has there been anything you guys have like put on the drawing board that you got some feedback that said, no, we're just, you know, we're 5 years away from that type of thing? You know, are there too
Well, I
many
would say
things that
the
are
pinball machine is one of those things.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's a product plan there that goes out a few years that we have, and a lot of exciting things coming. You know, so we kind of got the, you know, what again we love is the arcade machines. It's all about the originals, and you know, we got that now with the arcade, but also the music aspect, which we're doing with the boom boxes. But we have some really fun stuff coming for movie related products too that I think you guys are really gonna dig.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So
Now, do you
those are gonna
guys?
be-
I was gonna say, do you
Yeah, go
guys
ahead.
have almost like a brainstorming session on what products you want to come out with, or is it something you say, no, this is what I want, or do you have more like a team that sits down and throws out ideas, and you kind of pick and choose from that?
Well, I have a plan, and I'm always adjusting that plan, and I'm always getting suggestions from my coworkers, and then also everybody in our community. Some really awesome suggestions have come out of our community. Some things we haven't even thought of, you know. So listen to all of that, and then, you know, look at the cadence of how that stuff needs to get released and how long it's going to take for development. Again, we're trying to get our development times basically from announcement to shipping. That's a goal of ours to limit that amount of time. We're trying to get ahead, but I'll tell you, yeah, we have a plan that spans out about 3 years right now, with jam-packed full of product ideas.
Excellent. And we got a couple of comments in the chat from people that missed out on the Kickstarter from Dragon's Lair as well as the Boombox, and they're wanting to know how can they get access to those products now that the Kickstarters are closed.
Yeah, so the Kickstarter pre-sale period, it's really we want to limit that to a 30-day period. So if you get in, you're going to get the best possible deal we could possibly offer. It's the lowest price, and but that window is going to close, and we're not just going to keep pre-selling up until we launch the product. So it's going to be very similar to what we did with the USB machine and the power bank we launched earlier this year, where we will turn it on again once we have stock in-house. And we filled all our commitments to our backers and people who pre-ordered and have, been in the community and waiting. That's our top priority. But we absolutely will open it up. Make sure you join our email list. Our social media channels. Then we obviously give the most early access to people that are on those channels. But
Nice.
Is there any?
But also these things will be available like your Centipede, I assume, in like a Best Buy. You'll have, once these are all done, you can go in a store eventually and purchase these.
I don't know what's going on with retail. It's really weird right now, real weird period. So we've sort of shifted our focus from loading into Best Buy or GameStop or anything like that to really focusing on our direct-to-customer fulfillment. Like I mentioned earlier, we do everything in-house now, which we're really happy. We could limit mistakes and pack things with care, etc. So we're really looking to grow the direct-to-consumer business. This also helps us keep our pricing down, right? So you start going into major retailers, which we have, and tried that. The margins get really thin, right? And it drives prices up. So our strategy is like, yes, we want to make sure we're taking care of Amazon, of course, right? But we really want to grow our own web store and create our own shopping experience there. And we've been working towards that now for a couple of years, making improvements every time we can, and making a better shopping experience. So I hope that answers your question. Who knows what's going on with retail?
Okay.
It's such a weird time.
Yeah.
I agree. Direct is probably the best way. I just know in the past you had done it in other stores. Wasn't sure if that was going to continue, but I can definitely say working with retailers can be a bit of a pain.
Oh yeah, my career, I was a buyer for a large retail chain for 9 years, so I know, all the ins and outs of retail very well, and we really just love the model of ordering direct from us. I think it makes it more special. You're getting something that's coming right from our headquarters out here in North Hollywood, and again, you're getting we check everything, make sure the box looks okay before it goes out. You know what I mean? Nobody else is going to give it that level of attention and detail. So
Yeah. No, most of the time they just punt it onto the truck and call it good.
Did you say punt
exactly.
it? Did you say punt?
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, exactly.
We're gonna have to wrap.
I remember when the Tempest came out, the Kickstarter Tempest. You actually put the Tempest in a box with protection, and you put that box in a box, and then that box got shipped. So you definitely took a lot of care with them. And actually, I still have, that I'm nuts that I am. I don't get rid of them. Still got them right here. Got to keep them. They got their numbers on it, the weight, everything. You got to keep them all.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. That we got to make sure that cardboard is the right flute and it's thick and strong and blah blah blah. We take care of all that stuff. We tried something a little different with shipping Street Fighter. Worked out pretty good. We put in Glenn, I know and cool. So you guys saw it. So we basically did a layer of caps for the corners made out of cardboard.
Would that be these caps, by the way? Would that be these? Got
Yeah,
these-
Yeah, exactly.
corner
We
crush
got it right here.
protector.
Okay, you seriously need help. That you're
I
saving
know.
all that.
Look, you see this?
Eh.
This box is just as much a work of art. They put time. They put the logo on here. I
Oh,
mean, this is
absolutely.
just worth keeping as the. Well, I'm crazy maybe, but look, it's got the logo on here. It's just a nice box, and it was protected. It's got little things in there. You can't get rid of this.
That worked.
You can't get rid of that.
Is that
Oh,
your
that's nice.
girlfriends? Are those your girlfriends?
That pretty much is, because I understand keeping the box, but not the box's box.
The outer
Oh
box,
yeah, you gotta.
the shipping box, yeah.
You gotta catch them all.
And we wonder why coronavirus is spreading, folks. We wonder
No,
why.
quarantine.
I'll tell you guys, Glenn, to that point, yeah, everything we overbox everything when it goes out of our warehouse, paper pack, all that kind of stuff. But for Dragon's Lair, we're doing. I'll let you guys know we're doing something even a little bit more different. So you know how we have our gift box is shrink wrapped, right? And then
Yes.
that's actually going into an overbox for Dragon's Lair. We're going to try this. That's going to go into a cardboard overbox that's very similar to the packaging, the way it opens. And we're actually making it, we did some 6-scale graphics on it. So it looks as much as we could imagine that the packaging an actual Dragon's Lair shipped out of the factory from, right? And then we're taking that box and we're putting that into a shipping box that's exactly what Glenn just showed there with the Street Fighter. So we're doing a double box right out of the factory, and it adds a little bit more fun. And I think everybody's really going to think the 6-scale graphics on the overbox it looks really cool, and and it does the trick from protection standpoint also.
Well,
so look out for that.
What we're going to do is we're going to wrap up this recording here, and then if you've got like 10 minutes afterwards, we'll do like a post show where people can call in via the phone line and ask you direct questions if they want to call in. I know there's been a lot that's been coming through the chat room. Doug's been doing a really good job of trying to keep up. So if that's cool with you, we'll
Yeah, sure.
All right. So everybody, ladies and gentlemen, you can go visit newwavetoys.com. Shilo, it was really awesome to have you on here today and talk about all this stuff.
Peace out.
Thanks for having me, guys. I really appreciate it.
Oh, absolutely.
Well,
Yeah, it was a pleasure, Shilo, talking to you. I'm a big fan of your products. Been backing every single Kickstarter you guys have started. I love what you guys are doing, the attention to detail, and like you spoke to earlier, just the fact that you're open, transparent with your community, and you're looking to openly accept that community feedback wherever it comes from. So I thank you so much for what you guys are doing over there. You're doing it right.
Thank you, and we appreciate you, and we're fans of yours too, and we really enjoy your videos, man. So thank you, right back at you.
Thanks.
All of you guys, you too, Glenn.
Speaking
Thank
of
you.
videos, you can visit youtube.com/cooltoy. And what's on the agenda? Do we have a Legend Center, or is the season over?
Season's over. So season 1 is wrapped. So there's a survey going out there around, so you can send ideas and suggestions for a potential season 2 if you want to see me cover specific things. So let me know.
But his latest video, which we're still waiting on, I know Glenn's is there, but he hasn't gotten into it. Mine doesn't come till next week. NBA Jam from Arcade 1-Up. You have a pretty in-depth, and I believe sometime maybe next week, the three of us are going to do a Wi-Fi test and really put it through its paces.
We're gonna have a 3-way.
Well, I wouldn't put it exactly that way, but
There's so
Okay.
many ways you can phrase that, Glenn. So many different ways. But no, yeah, we're gonna.
Throw off there, Glenn.
Yeah,
Cool down.
Glenn's gonna get dunked on. Let's just put it that way.
yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh, first of all, even though I am built like an iron giant here, these guys are gonna wipe the floor with me. It's gonna be so fun to watch. It's gonna make people cry. That's how good it's gonna be.
I'll go
How
on
bad
your
they're
team.
gonna trounce me.
I'm not probably as good as Cool Toy, but I'll go on your team, and then so that way you have a fighting chance to win.
There we go. Yeah.
And then
I'm dragging you down, Steven. I'm dragging you down. Man.
the computer can't be any better than what you could do. I'm hoping. So
Listen, Listen, this is what I would use. I have so many here.
Do you even know what a basketball is?
I do.
Okay.
But when I played basketball, it was like double dribble, with one of these on the Atari. It was just.
Oh
boom,
man,
boom, 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 boom,
I'm
boom.
gonna
That-
regret
that,
this.
That was it. You are. That was it.
Well, anyways, you guys could go check out Doug's video on that, and then also Glenn put out a video yesterday that you guys can go check it out as he goes through all the things that he needs to do videos on.
Yeah.
So go check out his YouTube channel.
Falling behind.
But you had
behind big time.
you had a milestone yesterday. Why don't you talk a little bit about that while we wrap up?
I did, and I want to thank everyone out there. After 5 long years, I've crawled my way to 6,000 subscribers on my channel, and I'm very appreciative. I mean, I know I'm a crazy old man with a very weird, weird hobby where I even keep boxers. But I'm really thankful to everyone out there. The community's been great. There are always your detractors out there, but if you have 5 people who are your rock, and you have one guy that's the rock hitting you in the head, those other 5 are there to help you out, and I do appreciate it, and all the other content creators out there. And I have to say really quickly that New Wave Toys, these Replicades, and Shilo, it's not just him, his team. I mean, the people who work for his company, they all have the same drive to customer service, which is just as important as making a fantastic product. And I want to take the hat off to him for making the company, because to be quite honest, they are beautiful. They're small enough we can take them to the office, put them on your desk. People always say, what is that? I say, can't touch it, it's mine. But you could get your own and put your fingerprints on that. But I'm just very thankful to him, because he makes not only a good product, he's a generally good-hearted person, and his team under him have that same mentality. And I want to thank him for not only the product, but just for having a company that strives to be a company that listens and puts out great products. So Shadow, I want to thank you for that. I really do.
I really appreciate that, and this is just my life work, and everything just goes into New Wave Toys as far as I'm concerned. I'm not married. I have a dog, and I'm married to New Wave Toys basically, and I really appreciate that.
We could be brothers here. You got not married. You got a dog. We look. My beard's not quite as long. Maybe I don't know. Looking pretty close. Wait, hold on. Hold on. Hold on.
Oh, here we go.
There we go.
Yeah, I get side by side.
There's
Separated at birth.
There's a
That's it. I think
screenshot.
what
Everybody
happened-
make a GIF of that one.
Brothers.
Get a quick screening of that. That'll be all over social media later. Yeah, we really appreciate you coming on and taking the time and putting up with Glenn. At least he didn't go through one of his Kathleen Kennedy rants, but you got a prequel of that in the pre-show. But we do.
Yes, I did. Yeah.
Everybody that watches this show knows about Glenn and Kathleen Kennedy. But guys, we really appreciate everybody tuning in, and make sure you subscribe to the podcast. For those that didn't know, we have an audio and video podcast of this show. If you decide that you just want audio only, I would say while you're on your drive to work, but not many of us are doing that right now. But you could still subscribe to the podcast, and we just got the approval this week. It is in Pandora. It's on Spotify and all your favorite podcast catchers. Apple, I made sure to do it, Glenn, or Google. You can still do Google.
Yes.
So you guys can check it out. And if you want to subscribe or follow me, I'm pretty much the Tech Buzz everywhere. And maybe this year or 2021, Glenn will actually get his website up and running. Maybe.
I think I did. I did it in Word, Microsoft Word.
No.
There's an option to export it to a website, and I did it.
Got a GeoCities website up and running.
I did. You know what? I actually still have a copy. Ooh, if I showed you that thing, man. Ooh, that was amazing.
Doug, we got to work
Best
on him.
technology of 2000, man. Ooh, boy.
Anyways, stay tuned if you guys are here live for call-ins and also probably another Kathleen Kennedy rant. We appreciate everybody tuning in. We'll see you next week. Hey, there's some big leaderboard games that are out for @games. So if you guys are playing in the Legends, make sure you guys check that out. I don't have it pulled up here recently, but there is a league going on, and we're going to tell you about it here in just a few minutes. We'll see you guys next week.
Want to qualify to win a Legends Gamer or Legends Ultimate? Participate in the Summer League event, and you may be able to do just that. Current Legends Ultimate owners can participate in the 10-week Summer League event, starting June 5th, 2020, and ending August 9th, 2020. During that time, there'll be a series of weekend leaderboard events for select games each week. This is a battle to the end. Practice up, make your scores count, and top the charts once and for all, and have a beauty of a prize to show for your hard work. Have fun on the leaderboards, and good luck.